bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time. It's clear to see from up here. The world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful. You and me.
Hello everyone, this is Monica Ramirez, Warrior of Love, and today we're in Soul Talk, and we have a very special invite that it resonates here in my heart with me. Her name is Nalinee Diosara. I'm sorry. My first language is Spanish, and I'm sorry if I do. I'm just gonna give a brief description who she is, but I want she tell us more about her because she is very, very interesting after you read her bio. Nailini is a conduit and shamanic guide, channeler, and painter. She sees life, nature, ancestors, and plant medicine as a teachers. Nailin combined her own experience and guidance from benevolent spirits into the wisdom of evolution. Her journey of self transformation and living her life of as a shamanic plants continue to inspire her into the example of walking both new and ancient physical and spiritual worlds in balance. Eileen, I see also that you do shamanic drumming and cacao ceremony and light language. Then hopefully you can. She's recuperating right now. I hope she can do light language for us and at the end. But I wanted to know more about it, more who you are, because it sounds very, very interesting.
Okay, so I'm just putting my phone on airplane mode because there's a buzz in the microphone. Thank you for having me, and I'm up for light language, and as well as I'm not sure if the drum, my goatse drum, is ready because now we're in rainy season and the air can be quite humid. However, I do have my tiger drum, which is synthetic. And how would you like me to start?
I would like to you start telling me a little bit of what it took you there, because what you were telling me, your family was involved into shamanic, or how was it? What it makes you go into shamanic work?
It started off, my spiritual journey started off after I slowly recovered from a very long period of time of depression, suicidal, social anxiety. And then I started to meditate to expand my creativity because I paint as well. And painting is just something that anchors me. And I started to channel, I started to combine what I receive into my art, and that's when I started to welcome in light language into my work. And then there's a missing link still. I still had that lingering sense of I don't belong here, there's no place for me on earth. And ayahuasca called. Me and my husband, we slowly felt the call, we slowly research and watch many documentaries of ayahuasca and about the wisdom that's still practiced in South America, and we're like, let's just do it. So we quit our job and everything and then went into the Amazon volunteering first because we really want to reset our rhythm, because we in Bangkok City and it's a very dense concrete jungle. So we sign up ourselves for 3 months in Peru, 2 months total in the jungle itself, and we were just volunteering, doing everything that they needed help, basically, from changing sheets and helping the shaman preparing medicine bath and preparing dinner tables for the guests, etc. And we got to see we actually got to learn a lot of perspective of how the community of plant medicine runs. We got to see from the local point of view, from the manager point of view, from the facilitator point of view, and also from the shaman point of view, from the curanderos, curanderas, maestros, maestras. And the last 2 weeks of our stay, we finished our volunteer and then we became guests. We solely focused on the medicines work. And what I learned from ayahuasca journey was we had 5 ayahuasca over 10 days along with other medicine as well. And I went to ayahuasca because I want to understand why I was so sensitive to sadness and grief, and then I was depressed. And what she reflected back is that, look, you can be in the world, but don't let the world get to you. Be in the world, but not off the world too much. And later I understood how there is a dance between when we connect with the world deeply, connect with one another deeply, but learn not to become attached. So after that, I came back and I still doing my just channeling and art, and then grief came back. Ayahuasca came into my meditation. She came into my awareness a couple of times as a serpent, and then she said, you haven't really practiced everything that I gave. And I'm like, And then cacao would be coming in from every angle. So I'm like, okay, let's just bring cacao, ceremonial grade cacao from Amazon, from Peru, and let's just drink it. And the first time that I drank it, I of course I purged tears, heart opening, and at the same time I saw myself offering this medicine to others. So that was the invitation for me to slowly bring in what I learned from Amazon and into cacao, and let it be known that cacao and ayahuasca is totally different entity, but cacao slowly then guide me to find my place or to reach out to people here, not just doing my work online only. And then slowly memories and words will be coming in that I don't understand, and later I found that they are words and they are names of sacred mountain of Mongolia, of the eastern Siberian side of shamanism, the Sayan mountains, the mountains that houses the spirit that guide shamans. And I thought to myself, okay, this makes more sense because I'm half Chinese, and this is closer to what is still practiced here in Thailand. Even the practice that they practice in Mongolia, we can still witness the essence of, we don't call it shamanic practice here, but some kind of practices that connect with the tree spirit. It's very similar to Mongolia. So I slowly studied, I got few books and also studied and practiced drumming, and this is how shamanism kind of expand and allow me to combine me being myself and also look back into the shamanistic heritage that's already planted on earth, and with respect and with humbleness bring into my own in ways that I carry on what is probably forgotten or what's probably being recalling, and also being myself at the same time. So to sum up, shamanic experience in Peru plant a seed for me to come back and connect with shamanic path.
You know what is the funny part? But then when this is a recorded video, but when this video is gonna be aired out, I'm gonna be in the Amazon in Peru.
Please hug the trees and kiss the soil for me. Yeah.
When you were saying that, I was like, oh, like, oh, wow.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm just adjusting my headphone. But our hearts are in there. We were there. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. The first 2 weeks, were rough adjusting and a lot of things bubbling up that there's no distraction. But and ayahuasca isn't easy medicine, and other medicine we did weren't easy either. But I remember walking through the jungle and thought to myself, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself so far. And it's still one of the best. Yeah, the shamanism, there's many different levels and practices of shamanism. And the South America plant medicine shamanism and Siberian shamanism kind of happen simultaneously in its own ways. But there are similarities, because the Eastern Siberian shamanism, the shamans would go and connect deeply with the spirit teachers, and then they would have song. Some people would hear and report they speak words that human don't understand, and it is probably come back to how light language is nothing new, as it already exists. We now have a term as light language, and shamans in Amazon, they too receive song from the plant that invoke and channel the spirit of the plant in the ceremony. And this is just it's something dear to my heart, that I take it as a blessing, because this path kind of brings me back to connect with my roots, seeing more magic that runs in Thailand that's been controlled, and also understand more the magic of the Chinese side and up northern in China. It's wonderful at the same time, and very humbling at the same time.
My experience, I grew up in Veracruz, like I have talked to you about it, and I was around 300 zones, archaeological zones with the Totonacas. And I have been in ceremonies over here in United States with American Indians in sun dances and moon dances and sweat lodge and so forth. I have found that there's a difference between just from Mexico to United States, from in shamanism. There's but at the same time, I can imagine in the rest of the world where there is the old medicine that connects you again to Mother Earth in all of the world. That is, it is the same. It is the same because it's the same medicine, it's the same Gaia, right?
Yeah, there's always differences, but the foundation, or how the connection between physical and spiritual world, the people, the shaman, the community, and spirits, the fundamental, very similar.
Yes.
I've never experienced sweat lodge or the North American practice.
Oh gosh, you have to try the sweat lodge. It is magical. You want to release emotional stuff, go to a sweat lodge. It is a lot of releasing. Is very medicinal. It is amazing. I recommend that to everybody that have the opportunity to do it. To try, at least try it once. You get hooked after that. In Mexico, we have the temazcales. Over here, they call it sweat lodge, but it's the same thing. It is more heavy in the Latin America because they're made of adobe. So there's no air coming in or out because they're made of adobe. But in the United States, they put skins of animals and so forth. So there is a little bit more ventilation, more than adobe. So they're not get so hot like the ones in Mexico. Yes, that's why there's many difference.
Yeah, but I can imagine possibly Mexican people can stand more heat from the weather that they have during the day.
That's right.
Probably.
But it is very interesting about the cacao ceremony. I have heard many things, but in reality, this is the first time that I actually talking with someone that actually um, does a cacao ceremony. And how is the difference between ayahuasca and cacao in
So
the
different,
medicine plants?
yeah, so different plant medicines they have different, very much like different entity, different energy, different personalities, and of course different purposes. How we meet each plant is a very different ways. Ayahuasca would require at least 2 weeks dieta of no red meat, no caffeine, no fermented food, at least 7 days of no salt. And that is the most difficult thing for us. And this is because ayahuasca prefer clear water in the body. And when you drink her, you don't want to have anything that going against her. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of energy purging. And us following the dieta for so long, being in the jungle, I was pretty puking my gut out many nights. Still, cacao is she's a very easy medicine. I'm drinking her a bit here. She's gentle but yet very powerful. How we meet her is pretty simple. About cacao is that there's kind of no right or no wrong of how we do it. And this is the creativity that comes with the spirit of cacao. And two, what I feel, generosity, because cacao allow us to be who we are. And then she supports us. She holds space for us. Ayahuasca is a firm mother and yet loving, but she pulls you into your deep dark rabbit hole and what you need to see, what you need to experience at that instant. But cacao would be, okay, well, this is what you need to feel, this is what is in you, but I'll sit with you. You don't have to go in any deeper if you're not ready. This is cacao. And I had an opportunity to journey and learn a bit about the Mayan sacred calendar with a Mayan elder from Guatemala. And this was purely done online during the pandemic, during the major lockdown. And he guided us through different energies, different nahuales of the sacred calendar, and how they use it to integrate into each days of ceremonies. And they don't really call it ceremony. To them, like Mexico, they call it an offering, like ofrenda. And something that we come and create an offering to earth, to the spirit. And the Mayans, the West, we would call ceremony. Their ceremony will be centered by the fire. And then cacao will be something that share and bring people in. And cacao too will be part of the offering, as well as other seeds, other leaves, tobacco, etc. And this is how the Mayans, roughly, how they do it. And not only the Mayan that worked with cacao before our time, there's also Bribri tribe in Costa Rica. And all of this merged or happened before written records. So it happened around oral tradition. The oldest cacao beans was found in Ecuador, date back to 5,000 years recently. So things just keep getting older and older. But cacao believed to originate from Amazon basin. And nowadays, how cacao ceremony or cacao offering is held is that it's very different to people. The Mayan elders, they don't call themselves shamans. I've asked Walter, who I worked with, and he said to us the word shaman kind of intertwined with brujas or brujos, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And then
Medicine
he said,
man or medicine woman, as the word.
yeah, or it can intertwine. It can go into too much of dark and light. They can be dark magic. They can be light magic, and this is the same with Siberian shamanism. When shamanism was involved in wars with the soldiers and the plannings and wheeling the weather, but that's another story. I feel that shamanism in this new age, new era is about maintaining balance, and it's most importantly about self-work. So the Mayan elders, they call themselves spiritual guide or day keepers because they hold the wisdom of energies of each day, and they're now working with two calendars. So the Mayans have their own ways of working with cacao and fire. I've never experienced Bri Bri tribe from Costa Rica. I would love to. The Mayan would speak about cacao as the medicine of gratitude. The Bri Bri, according to my friends who shared the experience with me, they said the Bri Bri would speak about cacao as the medicine that helped us remember who we are. But if we look at many stories that involve cacao, it's always the same core that cacao came here, birthed and grew from earth to remind us human how to live in harmony, to restore balance and harmony, in short. So nowadays, many people would hold cacao with ecstatic dance, yoga, and for me, it's my natural flow to bring in as a shamanic journey, because in Bangkok here, the energy is very much in the head. A to B, do this, do that, very fast paced, and people get stuck in the head. And cacao kind of remind us that this is more important. So it's a great key, because the core of shamanism, and this is spoken by Burya Mongolian shamanism, that the center of universe is in the heart. The center of individual reality is too in the heart. The center of our spiritual power is too in the heart. And I'm sure that many other shamanic cultures as well around the world always consider as heart is the home. So cacao can really elevate and take and guide us and hold space for deeper emotional release, obtaining clarity, and also allow people to know that life is just more than what's in their head. So cacao will allow you to share her according to what is authentic and what align with each creative flow. And what's interesting is that cacao that grown in different land, cacaos of different bean, harvested and distributed by different people have different energy.
Yes. It depends even who planted. It can be in the same zone, but depends on the person that planted and take care of the cacao. Is the energy that it's gonna have. Like any plant,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, here we have kratom, or in the Western would be kratom. It's native to Thailand and also native to Malaysia, and it's recently been, we call it unlocked from being illegal status, and now legal people can use. And it's been helping a lot, because traditionally before kratom became illegal, the local would chew the leaf, not in powder form so much, but they would chew the leaves to maintain stamina for labor work, also to heal muscle pain, to heal coughs and sore throat. I got a little plant in my garden. So yeah, I feel that different land has different plants to help people.
I always I thought about the where there is a sickness, the cure is next to it,
Yeah,
and it's close by. If we are open to see it.
yeah, yeah. That's so true. I have had some cacao from Mexico. My first try of Mexican cacao was in the form of mole. So it's probably the chocolate itself probably wasn't that strong. It was just out of spice and chili, and it was absolutely delicious. And then last year, my friend bought in pure ceremonial grade cacao from Mexico, and it's very, very strong. Love it.
I have some.
Ah,
I have never growing up in Mexico, and I was yes, I was around Totonacas all the time. I grew up with them, but in a way we don't, I don't not saw it. It was like something normal, something to drink your hot chocolate, and share it in ceremonies. But it was part of being part of this of the same people, part of the same conversation, and it was just open-hearted conversation with them. It's very different than in United States. That is something that I have encountered, and so I did not saw it like with that grace that it should be done, not as a ceremony. It's like smoking cigarettes. When you do it, I have smoked the pipe tobacco with the peace pipe, and it's very different than when I'm doing I'm smoking my cigarettes. It is tobacco, both of them, but it is different energy when you put in the intention in a different way.
No, definitely. We too had the opportunity to drink tobacco ceremony, and that was before ayahuasca, and it aid as energy purging. Our maestro Eladio, he mixed tobacco leaf with a bit of coffee just for flavor, and we would drink the whole mug. Some people would purge for hours. We didn't purge too much. We don't know why. He didn't know why either. And also in Peru, they call the ceremonial or pure tobacco mopacho. And mopacho too is used as smudge, and this is very similar to practice in Thailand that is probably being suppressed or controlled or hidden as well. Tobacco is used as offering to spirit. We don't inhale into our lungs. Smoke is a communication to spirit, and this too have been practiced very secretly in Thailand, I'm pretty sure. In Thailand, in some shrines, you will see a bit of rows of tobacco in leaves to offer. And how we cleanse is mopacho, we blow on the crown, heart, hands, back of the neck, and feet. And that aids as a smudging and grounding and welcoming into the space as well.
I have done with American Indians over here in the United States tobacco tides, and those are used for prayings. So just you put in a little fabric, and you're putting all the intention and everything when you're doing your praying, and you put the tobacco, and you tie it up, and again, and so and so and so, and in the ceremony you burn your tobacco tides, and yes, it is beautiful because you're putting your whole. It's a meditation when you're doing it and thinking for whatever you're asking for. It is beautiful.
Oh, I'm gonna go roll my tobacco now. I've got some pure Thai tobacco. I'm not. I'm still sensitive with the nicotine of pure tobacco. Even though I don't inhale, I still feel like ooh, okay.
I wanted to ask you, how do you work with people in shamanic as a shamanic guide?
I do small groups. And this is perhaps something that I was inspired by what I encounter in my own experience in Amazon. The ceremony will never be more than 8 or 9. 10 include facilitator and shaman, but no more than 8 participants who come to drink. And I honor this small space in person because I can connect with them deeper. I can assist them personally as well as hold or connect with the collective energy of the group. How I do my ceremony is that me and my husband, we do together. He plays didgeridoo something that I can't play, and didgeridoo is very deep, something that my voice can't mimic, and the drum doesn't go that deep. So we will take time to create space, and how I create space too is something that inspired from the eastern side of shamanic practice. We will put stones on different direction, indicate as a space holder, starting from south because south is the entrance, clockwise. That's how the energy flow in ceremonial space. And that is too the representation of the Mongolian yurt. Mongolian yurt, traditionally the door will be in south and people will enter clockwise.
Yes.
It's a representation of Mongolian cosmology. And then we'll take time to warm up our voice, our sound, tune into the energy of the space. And it's very important wherever we do our ceremonies to give thanks to the spirit of the land, guardians of the land, nature spirit of the lands. And we are fortunate here because the shrine for the land spirit are everywhere in Thailand. So there's still a reminder that there's a knowledge and wisdom that we are still connected with the spirit world. So this is something important, to pay respect to the lands and guardians of the lands, and for them to hold space for us as well. And when everyone comes in with smudge, what I'll do is I will have a chat a bit of the theme of the ceremony, which will always connect to what I receive from spirit or the sacred Mayan calendar. And then we will do a bit of energy reading to really, for me to know where each people is at and their intention in the journey. Because intention add in the focus. When you go in, sometimes vision will comes up, sometimes there's a lot of feelings coming up. Intentions always add as something for you to aim, something for you to direct your focus, to communicate what you're feeling, to remember why you're doing this, not to get lost in seeing dolphins or swim with whales. Those are nice, but you're there for a reason, because shamanic journey is about obtaining some kind of realization. It's not so much about you aim at being enlightened in one ceremony, no, but you're there, and why you are there, it helps to know. It helps to know why you're here, it helps to know why you're drinking, it helps to know why you're embarking upon this journey, so that when you feel or when you see, you can then communicate, learn to communicate with spirit. So this is what I guide people to do. We remind people that, you can bring in the sound to channel and allow certain things to be given away to earth, or certain things to come out. And cacao is great for all of us to meet the most difficult part within us with love. So that's the sound, that's the journey part. And after the journey, every plant medicine or every healing rituals or ceremony, integration is the most crucial thing. Even though the person may not see, may not encounter any spirit, that's fine. But I feel that it is important for us who in the position of facilitator or guide to pave way somehow how they can integrate the energy of what they receive or what they're being inspired from this space further on their own path. So afterwards, I will channel. My guys always like to come in, channeling. Nalinee personality will step aside a little, and then my guys will open up for question and answer. And sometimes it takes times for the people to open up, but we always encourage and tell them, we learn from one another, and you're here for a reason, and there will always be a connected theme that we are experiencing individually and collectively. So open up, and everything happens here, stay here, no worries. So it's always fun for me to observe the connection that the guys breach with others. And after the Q&A, we will then chat or have a meal afterwards, close the space and go somewhere and have a meal together and connect, because spirit of cacao is very much of a social bonding. It brings community together, it brings people together. Yeah. So that's how I work in my ceremony. And I do online more people, because space is not limited and it flows pretty much similar. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I miss, you make me miss going to the ceremonies. And it's like, but well, hopefully in my trip to Peru that I'm gonna be doing to the Amazons, I can get a little bit of that. I my last Sundance that I went, it was in 2010, I believe so. So it's been a while.
Oh, which town would you be going to in Peru to go into Amazon?
Puerto
Ah, okay.
Puerto
So it's
something.
different. We went through Iquitos.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
I
different.
forgot the name of Puerto something. And there, and of course, we're gonna go to Machu Picchu too. I'm going with
Oh,
my
we didn't make it there.
partner. Like, I have to go. I miss my pyramids. And yes, it's meditating in pyramid zone. When you're in the pyramids, the vibration and the connection you have, and the portals you have,
Yeah,
it is totally different than
yeah.
anything I have experienced before. And I was raised in there in Veracruz, and
Oh.
I miss that part, that connection, and it's been too long without having that.
I had the opportunity to go visit Teotihuacan for quite a few times, but that was me way before being aware of all this. But I was still quite sensitive and receptive. I love Teotihuacan. Climb up the Sun Pyramid a couple of times, and I also had the opportunity to visit Chichen Itza. A lot of tourists, but it's a land when you go there and you're like, you don't know why, but this feels like home. It feels like you've been here before, but you don't know why.
Yes,
Yeah.
memories come back. And talking about that, I saw that you do remembrance. That's the same as soul retrieval.
No, no. Well, what I meant by soul remembrance is that it's the energy of my services that assist people to kind of, I don't want to say remember who they are, but kind of be more clear and in line with the experience that their soul is here to experience. Soul retrieval work is very different because that's in the setting of more of a private one-on-one work. And I had a realization yesterday. I'm like, hey, nowadays soul retrieval, we no longer need to go deep into the lower world or anywhere else, but it's about guiding deep into the wounds that we carry.
Yes,
Uh, I honestly feel that old school shamanism is powerful in its own right, and it exists in that time for a reason. But I feel that there is a slightly shift of how shamanism blending with the new age communities, how now I feel that it's not so much about the shamans fighting light or dark, but it's much more on the shaman being example that there's a shamanic side within you too. You can do this too, and the key is within where you fear the most. Go in there and feel it. Um, and I always hold dear and practice, do my best to practice the present, being the now, being the present moment. And that too is very crucial, not to get lost in too much in past lives, too much in what the future would be, but everything exists in this now, and from this now we can then recall the stories of multidimensional memories when it serves.
yes.
I don't do soul retrievals. I feel that is not my path. I'm pretty sure some people do still.
I do soul retrieval. But that's why when I saw the soul remembrance, it's like it sounds similar, so I have to ask. But it is different. I can see what you mean because it is different. One thing is remembering who you are, And another one, it is bringing your soul back from different traumas
Yes.
that we
Yes.
had in the past, that
Yeah.
our soul just got scared, and we have
Yeah.
to bring it back and make that compromise again
Yeah.
to be
No,
with
I
ourselves.
I totally agree in this. Even in the eastern side of Siberian shamanism, they acknowledge that there's three essence of the soul. And when there's traumas or emotional attachment, one essence stray too far away from the body, and that causes imbalance.
Yes.
So thank you for what you do.
I do work a lot with trauma.
Mhm.
I do, that's something that passions me to help people, because I have done a lot of work for myself
Mhm.
with trauma, and of course you can help people easier after you have passed through that. And either way, we're in this planet learning and growing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
yes, and
Okay, I was just gonna say, because I always resonate with we can only take others as deep as we've gone within ourselves. And we can only connect with the plant medicine as deep as we have gone within ourselves.
yes, I agree with that. And I wanted to ask you, do talk with benevolent spirits? With who you connect?
Before, I probably wrote this bio many years ago. I need to update. That's the thing, though. It's not, honestly, it's not easy to put what you do in words.
I know it's.
Especially English is not my first language.
I know. Believe me, I know that.
Mm. So thank you for opening up opportunity for us to speak, because it's just something much more fluid than one word. Look, I've started to channel, and in my first journey or experiences of channeling, I would have very few guides because of the sense of safety. But now it doesn't matter at all which guise comes in. What matters is the integrity and the centerness of the energy that you transmit and the space that you hold. I'm beginning to notice that the guise that comes in are very fluid. For for instance, sometimes when I begin to channel for the group or for others in private, my lion guides, the feline guides, will come in, and then they slowly shift into my shaman teacher's guide, and then they slowly shift into Pleiadians, and then they slowly shift. And it's always according to the energy of the conversation.
Yes.
So I would say that benevolent energy, benevolent entities, or benevolent consciousness is always that serenity and the integrity that the channeler takes time to work on her or himself, and to come back into the center and to clear, do as much as you can to clear the business of the mind, to most importantly to clear the preconception of the person or the energy of the group, to start from neutral, kind of like start from nothing, and you allow the guides to guide and the energy that's being exchanged to guide. And that's the fun part. That's the fun part of the channeling that I love.
I agree. I do channel too. And
Mm,
it is awesome to know that you always have the support and the love of being so light.
yeah.
Would you like,
I Yeah.
oh, would you like to do light language? Can you do it? Because
Yes.
I know you
Yeah.
just got sick, and I don't want to push your throat if you can do
No,
it.
it's okay. It's always just the sun is rising now. It's always early in the morning when the throat is catching up, the sinus is catching up. Okay, so welcome the listeners and all of us to close your eyes. Take deep breaths. Take a moment to tune into the feet, the roots from the feet or from the tailbone that connects us with our mother. Take a moment as well. Turn into Father Sky. And return into the heart. The heart is the home. The heart is the center of all time and space. With our heart connected through the web of life and web of light, as we all are swimming in this new paradigm of consciousness, consciousness of the heart. From the heart, feel and observe what arises from moment to moment, without resisting. So each of us can be aware what's needed to be given away to us. And what we can nurture and continue to create. Kisi ia na ara ni na kia soyo. Breathe and be present with all of your cells, the cells in your body. Different organs that support you. With the heart pumping blood, pumping life force. Pulsation of life, pulsation of love that already exists within each of us. Niniki ranati tu mana. Tatua rena kia sayo. Mina iana ariana pa. Sani iona iara. Who you are is true essence that is beyond identity. Beyond wounds, beyond pain. Beyond attachment of the mind. Feel it deep, deep through your heart portal. It exists within every cell. It too exists within all essence of the trees, the animals, the mountains, the water, the rocks, the sky. Deep breaths. And thank you. You're mute. There you
Wow,
go.
that's beautiful and powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for it. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
And I will be sharing your links for anyone that wanted to contact you and wanted to do any of your ceremonies. And yes, we should get more in touch with our right
Yes.
with Mother Gaia, and we need to connect with their nature.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been doing all of us. Everybody have done it before in past lives, but we just forgot.
Yeah.
We forgot how important it was.
Because everything is about Earth here. Earth is the teacher. Everything comes from Earth and everything returns to Earth. The ego likes to think otherwise. Our ego likes to think that we have to do this on our own, carry this on our own, and figuring out on our own. But the more we learn just to listen, the more we learn to connect with sunrise. And when we connect with Earth, we then remember how to connect with our body deeply, how to listen to our body deeply, how to follow its guidance, how to give what it needs. Yeah.
That it is true. I would like to have you again in later on in the future when you have time.
Please.
And I really love this conversation. Thank you so much, Nalinee.
Oh, thank you.
It is beautiful. Do you have something else you have before we close down?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you everybody for being here. And if this was helpful for you, please share it with your friends. And because this, you need to see this episode again as many times as you need. And to release, I felt that release when we did this. It was really really powerful. And just do it and enjoy it. Thank you so much, Nailin. I really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for being here. And this is Monica Ramirez, Warrior of Love.
In the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell